when I was 10 years old, out behind my housing tract was this big old swamp. Really cool swamp. Everything you'd ever want in a swamp. The smell of swamps. Great swamp. Up above this swamp was this giant dirt hill on a sharp angle, about 400 or 500 feet high. And if you were any kind of bike rider at all, you had to be able to ride down this hill and live to tell about it. It had names like Dead Man's Hill, Suicide Hill. Some people just called it the Monster. This big old hill. And the hard part about riding down this hill was down at the bottom of the hill was this really little narrow path that ran along the bottom of the hill. And you had to be coming down this hill on a bike going faster than you've ever gone before and somehow be able to turn your bike and put it on that path at the last second. Because on the other side of that path, the swamp had grown out this gooey, tarish, black, bubbling, smelled like tuna, been in the sun too long nastiness that we called frog finger. Because it looked like a finger sticking out of the swamp, and only like a frog or something could live in it. When we were little, we were told that if you ever went into frog finger, you were never heard from again. When you're 10 years old, don't you believe everything? You know, there were parts of bikes sticking up out of it, you know, and all kinds of stuff. For the adults, we know Jimmy Hoffa, we know where he is, frog finger, you know. We just know this place was nasty. My friend Eddie, who had already been riding motorcycles at 5 years old in competitions, was the best bike rider in our whole city. And he told a few of us, hey, I want to show you something at the hill and at the swamp. Why don't you come with me? So he gets 3 of us and we go with him and we ride our bikes. And we're riding our bikes along and we get to the top of Suicide Hill. And we're looking out from the top. I can see the whole valley. The wind's blowing. There's the swamp. And there's Frog Finger. Bubbling, almost looking up at us saying, come to the dark side. I'm scared just being at the top of it. I'm like, thanks for bringing us here, Eddie. I really wanted to see this. And all of a sudden, Eddie takes off down the hill. Now, every person I ever saw even attempt it rode their brakes at the top, like, what am I doing? Not Eddie. He starts pedaling at the top because he wants maximum speed. He is flying down this hill, going faster on a bike than anybody I've ever seen. He gets about halfway down and somehow, I don't even know how, he starts willing his bike to turn. He starts fighting gravity and G-forces and he gets this bike to somehow start turning. And at the very last second, he takes his bike and turns and puts it right on that path at the last second. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen on a bike. We're jumping up and cheering, Eddie, that was awesome, Eddie! And he looks up at us and yells, that's not what I came to show you. Watch this. We don't know what he's talking about. He runs off his bike, he jumps off and he goes in these tall bushes and he drags out this big old rusty oil barrel and he sets that big old oil barrel on the path. And then he runs back in the bushes and he drags out this plank of wood and he sets 1/2 of the wood on this barrel. Now we're way up high and it really looks small, but it almost looks like he's made this ramp pointing right at Frog Finger. It can't be, we don't know what's going on. It's got to be at least 15 feet across right there. What's going on? Then he pushes his bike up the lower part of the hill. And I say to him, oh, that first run down the hill, that was incredible, Eddie. But what's going on here? He gives us that look. You know that look of a person that kind of, like they're the only one in the room that knows what's going on? You know, he just kind of looks at it and goes, this is what I came to show you. And he takes off again down the hill, pedaling again, before we can grab him. I'm like, oh no, there goes a good friend. He's just flying down this hill. It looks like he's even going faster this time. He is flying. He's bouncing all over the place. He gets to that certain point and we're yelling at the top of the hill, you gotta turn, Eddie! You gotta start turning, Eddie! He's not turning. He's going straight ahead. We're yelling, turn, Eddie, turn! Straight ahead. And he hits that ramp and it launches him into the air. Like 30 or 40 feet in the air. Remember, I was 10. He was way up high though. He looked like E.T. going by the moon. He was way